very good evening, hello, and welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones.
And Matt Baker. Now, joining us tonight is a dame and a sir with around 100 awards between them.
Yes, in their honour, we have decided to roll out 2 red carpets tailored to their glittering careers. Please welcome Serena McKellen and Dame Judy Andrews.
Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Nice to see you.
Where do you want to be?
Just over here.
Have a seat, have a seat.
How are you?
Very well.
Good.
There we are.
It's wonderful to have you both here.
Oh,
Just
thank you.
here would
I'm
be
glad we
brilliant.
didn't wear green, aren't you?
Yes, well, people often say that.
Yes, and I did this morning. Yes.
Now, surprisingly, you two have never worked together, but we understand, is this right, that you came very close?
Not for lack of wanting, I can tell you.
Well, you didn't know this, did you? Because I told you this morning when we
Yes,
bumped into
yes.
each other that when you made that wonderful story about, what was she called?
Gertrude Lawrence.
Gertrude Lawrence,
Yes.
Star.
Yes.
Of course, you had your old friend Noel Coward as one of the characters, and I went up to, I auditioned, I had a whole day pretending to be Noel Coward.
A whole day, if you please.
It was wonderful. I
Yes.
loved it. But I didn't get the part. It went to Dan Massey, who I think was nominated for an Oscar. So
What could have been?
But we could have had such a...
we could, yes. It's not too
Well,
late.
there's still
No,
time.
no, it's
exactly.
fine. It's fine with me.
Well, we've had a very exciting day here.
Have you?
At the BBC today. Very exciting, haven't you?
What have you been up to?
Wow.
We've had a mass sing-along.
Yeah,
to
brace
one
yourself.
of
A
your
mass
famous-
sing-along?
Yes, to one of your famous songs. There we
Oh.
are. They're very good at waving.
Very good at
the crowd
waving.
will tell
And-
themselves.
Can
Honestly,
one wave back at... No, no, or are
The
they...
singing is just as good as
Really?
the waving. Yeah, it really
okay.
is. But anyway, Ian, we understand that you would like to spend a little bit more time doing a bit of singing. Is that right?
Oh, well,
Concentrate on a bit more.
I don't know. I mean, do you think it's too late to start singing? You
No,
don't.
no, I
You
don't. No,
No.
I don't.
I mean,
Don't forget, if you don't
Yes, go
feel
on.
like singing much, you can always sing speak.
yes, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, you've had a
yeah.
little go at that,
I
though,
know.
haven't you?
Well, like
Did you never play...
Rex
Yes,
Harrison
but
did.
did you never play Higgins? You'd have been wonderful.
I would have liked. I was once asked to do it with the Scottish National Opera, and I thought,
Really?
no, I can't go in and speak with all these opera singers around.
What you should
It's,
do is come and do it in concert or something.
Well,
You know, big symphony orchestra.
I've picked up an agent.
Yes, haven't you? Jeff?
Well, there you go.
Well,
Hey, listen.
Your wonderful Emma Thompson did Sweeney Todd.
Yes, that's right.
At Lincoln Center in New York. She was fabulous.
There's just
remarkable.
something about a musical, isn't there?
Yes, I can't agree with you more.
Yes.
And I had a friend who was in Salad Days. Remember Salad Days?
Yes.
That was even before the
I
boyfriend.
Julian
Slade.
Slade, thank you.
And Jimmy Cairncross was in that for 8 years or something, and I said, how on earth did you do it? He said, every night I came down from the dressing room and I heard that piano and those tunes and I was away.
This is one of those remarkable actors' conversations.
Isn't it? It's just watching you do it.
Just, it's like a dressing room, isn't it?
I'll tell you something, I don't know if it's
here we
true.
go again.
Is it true of a play? If you're fortunate enough to be in a long run, the first 3 months you're really learning your lines all over again.
Yeah.
The next 3 months of the first year, the next 3 months you're just enjoying it completely and finding nuances. The next 3 months, bringing you up to 9 months, you are listening to the orchestrations and finding things and all of that. And then the last 3 months
hell.
is, well, you really have to, you know,
Yeah.
keep remembering.
Do you know, we've got loads of material planned here, but maybe
Well,
we should
sorry,
just
just-
chuck it out. Just chuck it out. I think you should crack on, because this is lovely. It's like watching the One
let me
Show.
just
It's-
finish off that, or respond to that, because
I want to know if it's true of a long play.
I think it is true. And,
Yes.
and the way round it is to treat each performance as if it's the first one
Absolutely.
you've
Yes,
ever done.
that's
Because, of course, it's the
absolutely
first one for the audience.
Well, it is. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we've got some rather unusual singing for you to enjoy this evening. Now, Christine Walkden has flown across London's rooftops from the Chelsea Flower Show to talk about some of the highlights, including plants that sing.
Yeah, we're not kidding. Oh, no,
Honestly.
All will be revealed
It's a
later.
bit
No.
hit or miss.
I
but-
cannot believe how this is done.
Well, you'll
Wow.
find out. She's going to be testing out the Edelweiss.
Oh my
well. Yes,
God!
I know, as well as
It'll
other
be
plants.
an album next, won't it?
I know, yeah. Well, all this will be happening throughout the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, as we mentioned, Julie, it was a very big day here at the BBC, and we wanted to do something special because we were coming, and we went slightly, well, over the top, really.
Yeah, we did. We're going to show the efforts at the end of the programme, but first, here is the story of how the whole BBC joined forces for you, Julie.
Oh, wow.
The BBC, a hotbed of creative talent. Today we're stretching our vocal cords to celebrate a movie icon in the only way we know how, a mass sing-along. We've asked our colleagues and singers from around the country to give us their best singing voice. From Radio 1...
There's big heated discussions going on about how the line should be delivered.
There's one line. Me.
to Watchdog.
I call myself... Oh, I like that. Or maybe I'm just tone deaf.
Vanessa's taken a minuet from her chat show.
I love The Sound of Music. I think I used to sing "Do a dear, a P-male dear," because I didn't know what that meant, in my pram.
That's a good take. We're going to do one more.
And our weather presenters are singing up a storm. Rain. And possibly strangling a cat.
Well, it's something different, isn't it?
And is that Lucy Seal wearing the wrong dress?
Finding this hot because Mary Poppins wore lots of undergarments. I'm enjoying the support of my nuns. I don't think they were ever in the same film, but never mind.
And these are not real nuns, believe it or not. We've got your outfits off the internet.
Really?
$3.99.
Because this is as good as the one I've got at home.
We even think we can teach Jamie how to hold a tune.
Am I singing the whole
No, you're doing do, a dear, a female dear.
Ray, a drop of golden sun.
Al is in the zone. It's like I'm watching Julie Andrews. It's remarkable. How do you solve a problem like that? All right.
Climb every mountain. Is that too much?
With our singing voices, we've got a mountain to climb. But thankfully, lots of people have turned up to help.
We just love The Sound of Music, Julie Andrews, and we've seen it so many times. It's really wonderful.
Sound of Music is a family obsession, so I had to be here.
I love to sing along to The Sound of Music because I love the film and I love Julie Andrews.
You'll have to hold on to the end of the show to hear the sound of our music.
That's a teaser, isn't it, Julie?
Yeah. Put so much work into it.
Yes.
Well, we
brilliant.
enjoyed every second of doing it.
Did
so
you?
hopefully it will look good later.
Good.
We've not seen it yet.
Thank you. What a great compliment, too.
But we ummed and ahed for a long time on the song. What we were gonna, 'cause of
Which one
course-
it was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to choose from. But let's talk about supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, because when you started with that, it wasn't actually in the book, was it? So how did it feel to be singing this, what must have been ridiculous?
It was okay. It wasn't in the book, but the wonderful Sherman brothers who wrote the music came up with this wonderful kind of rum-ti-tum music hall song. And that was my background, was music hall for years and years and years.
What your parents were on the halls?
Yes,
What did they do?
So was I. All over the place. I was
You were a little act with them?
Yes, eventually.
Were you
yes.
thrown about like Buster Keaton?
Ted Barber and Julie Andrews, yes. And a lot of people remember them too.
Yeah.
They were a very good second top of the bill.
Yeah.
And my mum used to say, it's much better than being top of the bill because you don't have any of the responsibility.
But I bet you became the star, didn't you?
Well, it did eventually do that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason you're over here, Julie, is because you're doing this fantastic evening which looks back over your life. Ala Jones is hosting with you, isn't
Yes,
Should be Ian. Ian should
Well,
be
it
doing
should
it.
be
I mean,
Ian.
I don't know
Oh,
why
I'm
you're
going to
not
be in
doing
the
it.
audience. I'm going to be in the audience.
he? Yes. So how
I
would
can
you
get
sum up the night then?
Well, it's a speaking engagement that I've done many times. I did it in Australia last year and I had a ball. And it's really me welcoming everybody to my living room, so to speak. And it's clips, outtakes, funny stuff, montages of some of the films, lots of talk about the things that I'm passionate about and funny things that have happened along the way. And then Aled will join me in the second half, and then he really monitors all the questions and the answers that the audience submits, tons of questions.
Right.
And that's my favourite
Sure they
part.
do, yeah. So you said you've sort of touched on this a few times then in your life.
I've done it quite a number of times.
Does it get easier as you get older to be more, open about your private life, or do you feel that you want to be more private as you get older?
I think I want to be more private as I get older.
What about you, Ian?
The older I get, the less confidence I've got that there's anything in my life that's of interest to anybody. But my work's one thing, but what I do and I'm not working at, no, I don't want to talk about.
No, I think it's...
But you've got kids, you don't want people...
No, I don't allow my kids, and right from the year they were born, I
Right.
weren't allowed to be photographed or by any. There were a couple of accidents that happened, but mostly no, because it was too dangerous,
Ian,
You've got...
No, I'm not. I don't have kids. No.
Do you have nephews, nieces?
Oh yes.
There you are.
And their children. Yes.
There's nothing like a good uncle.
Yes, thank you.
Exactly, and they are going to love your new film, which is out in cinemas
tomorrow,
isn't it?
Are, yes, they
it's
will.
The 7th instalment of the X-Men.
It is.
And in this one, it's quite complex until you see it, but basically Wolverine is sent back, isn't he? Back in time so that he can create a better future. So he puts
And you're sort of a bad guy, aren't you?
I do my best, but some people don't always approve of the way I do it.
I see, okay.
And when we go into the past, of course, it's not me playing Magneto, it's the wonderful Michael Fassbender.
Yes. It is.
Oof. Yes.
Well, let's take a look, shall we?
You need to go to my house and find me. Convince me of all of this.
You'll need me as well.
What?
It's going to take the two of us, side by side at a time, and we couldn't be further apart.
You'll have to be patient.
Patience is my strongest suit.
Basically, your body will go to sleep while your mind travels back in time. As long as you're back there, past and present will continue to coexist.
You really think this will work?
I have faith in him.
Okay.
Yes. Well, just watching that there, and obviously in a lot of the films that you do, all these kind of sci-fi and special effects films, what is it like for you as a, one of our finest theatre actors to suddenly be surrounded, well, you mentioned the green when you came in, but to be surrounded by these green screens and acting to fresh air?
An awful lot of stuff talked about green screen, which is where a screen on which later on the scenery will be projected. But
there we are.
There we are. I'm doing something. What am I doing?
In front of a green screen?
I'm pretending to do... It's all pretending. It's called acting. I'm not really up the tree. I'm not really out there. However, an awful lot of the time, particularly doing Lord of the Rings, we were there wherever we appeared to be. It was when we went back into the studio to do close-ups that we might work against a green screen. But, if you're on stage... That isn't a castle behind.
No.
It's not a real room. Well, it's just scenery, so we're quite used to...
But what is fascinating is when we look at clips like that and then we play the beautiful scenes in Mary Poppins where obviously you were having to do with...
Ours was a yellow screen most of the time in those days. Yeah, it was Disney's version of a green screen.
But you were there in those
back in the early
occasions, weren't
60s, wasn't it?
That's all in front of a huge yellow screen. Had to pretend.
Oh, well, of course, for the animation, yes.
Yeah.
And when you go across the water, then were you on, which you'll do any second now on the turtles? Were you on trolleys there, or?
No, I just had to step on a little raised turtle, as you'll see.
And don't tell me you weren't on that hill and you didn't turn round.
No, that one I did. That one I did.
So you were on little blocks at this point, then, as you say.
Here we go, looking down, and that little. Now I just step on. You'll see. Here I go, and there. And all I had to do was step on a little turtle, and the magic of Disney did the rest.
Very lucky you're light,
yes,
isn't it?
but it was a great lesson because it's the first movie I ever made, and it taught me right away the patience that's needed, especially for special effects, don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because they take twice as long.
And that must have been one of the first films using animation and real people at the same time.
I think it was, he tried it in a couple of movies, but very much smaller. This was very big for Disney at the time.
Groundbreaking, really. Now, Julie and Ian, of course, have both played characters that are firm favourites when it comes to fancy dress parties. So now is your chance at home to show your versions to them.
Yes, come on, everyone at home. Send us your Magnetos, your Gandalfs, your Richard III's, your Marias, and your Mary Poppins to the usual address at theoneshowbbc.co.uk.
Can I just tell you something about one of Julie's frocks in Sound of Music?
Oh, yeah, we'd love to.
One of your frocks was auctioned, and the lucky bidder was Peter Jackson, who directed Lord of the Rings.
Which
it's at home in New Zealand.
Does he wear it, or has he just quite...
Well, I said to him...
Don't answer that, it's all right.
No, I won't. I said to him at a party, has Fran, your wife, tried it on? And he said, he said, hey, Fran, he's asking about Julie Andrews' frock, and she said across the party, no.
Oh,
no. So I don't know where...
I'm a huge fan of his, my God.
Well, listen, Peter, if you're out there, put the dress on. Send in a picture.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, Christine is outside, and we're going to hear some singing plants. Well, we hope we are.
Oh,
yes,
I can't
we will. Let's keep everything... It's going to happen now. Christine, give us a taste. What have you got going on out there?
Ian, I just want you to have a look at this, because this is where science and gardening comes alive. Okay. This is a bronze-winning Chelsea exhibit, come all the way from that show, and it's how plants communicate. And this little device down here, this monitor, picks up the electromagnetic frequencies of these plants and makes them sing. The pineapple, a South American herbaceous plant that's really good and great in drinks, but if you caress it and you all become very quiet, you might just hear it sing. They really do. Listen.
That's real sound, this. This is real sound. Live. Ian, you look a little bit, sceptical there.
It's beautiful.
Is it
Did
not,
you believe it?
Is it not April the 1st?
That's what I said, yeah.
I believe it, I believe it. I'm sure that's true.
Oh, welcome to the world of the One Show.
We've got another 2 to come.
Oh, my God.
Yes, we do.
It would make a wonderful song, wouldn't it, talking to the plants and them answering back?
Yes.
There was a whole musical there.
Well, talk to the animals. That was. Yeah. Well, I see what you're saying, yeah. Oh, my.
Now, the idea of cells being reversed to a pre-embryonic state sounds like something out of one of Ian's X-Men films, really, rather than something from the real world.
But the use of present-day stem cell medical research means that we are finding revolutionary ways to treat certain conditions.
Ewan Thomas has been to meet a man who has a superhero-style mission on his hands.
Hi, Peter. This man has just got off a flight from Cologne with a very special bit of hand luggage.
Fantastic. What you do is amazing.
Well, thank you very much. It's great. That box that he's carrying over his shoulder contains this, a bag of stem cells. His trip began 24 hours ago when he set off to go and get them.
One is really acutely aware that when one is carrying that box and then got the stem cells in that box, that those stem cells could be saving somebody's life.
The reason he has to go abroad? The demand for stem cell transplants well outstrips the number of compatible donors. The match ratio between donor and patient is minute, meaning of those desperately awaiting a transplant in the UK, less than half will succeed. Peter volunteers for the Anthony Nolan charity, which matches donors round the world with patients in Britain. He collects the stem cells in a refrigerated package, which stays cold enough for just under 2 days. This short hop to Cologne is relatively easy in comparison with previous journeys.
I've been as far afield as Brisbane in Australia, I've been to Israel, I've travelled extensively throughout Europe.
Peter is frequently dispatched to Germany, where they have nearly 5 million people on their donor database, 10 times as many as in Britain.